Okay, so let's slowly make a start. So again, hello everyone here, and welcome to another episode in the Language Teaching Takeoff webinar series, where we are focusing on exploring the tools available in the TeacherMatic Language Teaching Edition. My name is Giada, and I worked in the language education sector for 7 years, and I loved it. I'm now part of the Avalan team, where we want to create tools that really support teachers and help them save time. And here today we have Joe, who is joining this webinar series for the first time, hosting this session, which is the first one of the year as well. And Joe will be focusing on two very important generators in the TeacherMatic Language Teaching Edition, the Cambridge Style Exam Prep Generator and the Worksheet, so we can see how to create engaging exam practice for your students. And just a quick intro about Jo. She is a freelance teacher trainer, educational consultant, and AI in education specialist. So a big welcome to Jo. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
Before we begin, just a few practical notes. You're welcome to submit all the questions that you have using the chat that you can find below. We'll aim to address as many questions as possible towards the end of the session. And also, please note that the webinar is being recorded and the recording will be shared via email next week. And with that, I think we can make a start. So it's over to you, Joe. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Jada. Thank you. And hi, everyone. I'm very, very happy to welcome you. And I can see that you already started adding into the chat where you're from. Feel free to add more. So I'm very happy to see that we've got teachers from Hungary as well. Ukraine, Ireland is represented. So keep them coming. Where are you guys from? You can also put in the chat which age group you teach. That could be interesting to see, whether you are teaching in state schools or private language schools. That could be interesting for us as well. So feel free to introduce yourselves. As for me, I also, as Jada said, I am a consultant, a specialist as well, but I also teach at university and also in language schools. So I've got this kind of background. So let's get started. And hopefully we can use this background when we're generating things and when you are trying to think of how you could apply these generators to your everyday life. So let's just try and share my screen. Okay, so you should be seeing a full screen now. Is that all right? Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
all good. Thank
All
you.
good. Okay, so let's start. So we're going to do a very, very quick introduction of TeacherMatic, the generators and what you can do with it. Then we're going to jump to the two generators that are on the agenda today, and then we'll address your questions. So a bit about TeacherMatic. So it's a generator, as you can see, an AI generator that can reduce your workload and help your organization. It has lots and lots of generators, but what we're focusing now on specifically is the language teaching edition, which features more than 50 generators, which you can use in your teaching. The main advantage of TeacherMatic is that it has been piloted and checked by leading language organizations. So it is definitely a credible generator. So you might have seen generators saying that they can align their materials to the CEFR. Well, TeacherMatic is definitely we can believe what it says, so it definitely works on the basis of CFR. And the other amazing thing that I like is what you can see here is that you can create lessons, generate lesson plans based on certain lesson frameworks, such as communicative language teaching or task-based learning. This is, I think, something that we don't really see in other generators or chatbots. So in my perspective, who also I teach methodology at university, I think it's a great thing that you can specify the kind of lesson framework you want to use. But let's take a very quick look at something that's on the agenda today. But before we jump to the generators, let me tell you as well why I'm here and why we're talking about the Cambridge style exam generator. Because apart from AI, my other favorite topic is assessment and feedback and how it relates to our teaching. So, a quick note on teaching and assessment. I think they have a symbiotic relationship, or they should have a very close relationship that I'd like to show you with this quick diagram that I prepared for you. And it's all about the importance of positive washback. Now, you might not have been prepared for big terminology here, but just one little thing. What is positive washback? And you'll understand why it all relates to these generators. What that means is that when we're teaching and when we are assessing, of course, we're assessing because we have to. Our students need to pass a test, they need to pass a language exam, so we just need to assess. But if we take a step back and think about the main reason why assessment exists in the first place, then we understand that we want to gather evidence. We want to find out how much our students know. And with that, and that's actually the importance of positive washback, you're not just testing them and then you forget about the results they got, but you use that evidence, you use that data to give them feedback, but also you use that data to get feedback on your teaching. So basically, with that, we can help our students identify problem areas. We can help them improve. We can give them action points, but this feedback also helps us modify our teaching. Maybe we need to focus on something else. So assessment is a key part of our teaching. And I think so. We tend to think that assessment is scary and we want to avoid it, but actually, continuous assessment is a great way to keep getting evidence and modifying our teaching in order to get better results in the end. And that's actually the final step. So we get this feedback, and then that can influence our teaching, and then we start a new cycle based on, let's say, we modify our teaching a little bit, which we can do with these generators easily. We can start a new assessment cycle. And if we treat assessment as something that just happens naturally, it's not going to be scary anymore. And students will just understand that, well, it's part of the process. And it's there for me to get better in my learning and for the teacher to get better in their teaching. So I just wanted to give you this very short background on what positive washback is. If you want a real definition for it, it basically means that how assessment or how the test results affect your teaching. That's and learning, like how the two are or how the two affect each other. So that's washback. And with that in mind, let's jump straight to something else. I wanted to show you this as well because I almost forgot. It's very important since we're going to be talking about the Cambridge style exam generator. Just a quick note on exam English versus real life English. Because we might, and with this generator, you're going to see that, oh, it's super simple. I can generate a test paper in seconds. But what I'd like to give as a message is that preparing for exams is important, of course, but don't forget about communicative goals. And you can do that with these generated test papers as well, that we can, of course, practice, but let's try and use that practice in a way that we focus on or we look at transferable skills as well and real life skills as well. And if you find that connection between the exam tasks and real life functions, then it's going to be worthwhile. So I recommend that you adapt, or we adapt these exam prep activities to reflect authentic and real life situations. You can then use other generators to ask for help if you need some adaptation ideas. But with this, and if you prioritize this continuous constructive feedback cycle, you're going to achieve a full, very communicative and interesting lesson, which is not just about exam prep and practice test after practice test, but something that leads to real outcomes. So with that, let's look at the Cambridge style exam prep generator. And I mark this word because it's very important that it's a Cambridge style exam prep generator. So these are all in the style of Cambridge papers, not official exam prep activities. And just a quick note, and then we're going to jump straight to the live demo. So this is what you see first. You can select the exam, the like A2, B1, B2, C1. C2 is on its way. You can then select the paper you'd like to generate and the part within that paper you'd like to generate. Once you got your result, so you have to go through these steps, then generate a result, then you'll be able to refine the topic. So you'll get something, but then you can enter that you want it to be on extreme sports, for example. So let's take a look what it means. I'm gonna jump to. Oh, wait. I need to figure out real quick. Yeah, okay. Now you should see my screen, and I just need to hide these things. Okay, here we are. So we're on the TeacherMatic Language Edition home screen, and we're going to be looking at the Cambridge style exam prep generator. Let me show you one thing first, that if you click here on the little info button, you're going to find most of what I'm going to tell you now. Basically, which papers are available, which parts are available, and also how you can use it. So if you forget what I'm saying now, you can always go back to the info page and check how you can make use of this generator. But just like I said, this is what you see first. So first you need to select the exam. Okay. You can also send me ideas, what you'd like to generate. But first, sorry, I've got a dog in the background. Let's say we're going to generate a B1 paper, language exam. Within that, as you can see so far, we only have the reading as a possibility, but more papers are coming. So the product team is definitely working on developing more papers. Right now, we have the reading. And then we can select the part. You cannot select all the parts, but of course, one by one, you can generate all of them. But let's see the gap text, for example. And just like I said, this is where we stop for now. So that's when you have to push generate. We're just going to wait a little bit. As you can see, not much longer. And done. And we're done. We have the paper. I don't think it was more than 2 seconds. Let's see what we got. We've got a very, very important notice here. Just like I said, that these are only practice materials. So not official papers, but practice materials. And let's see what we managed to generate. We've got the title, we've got instructions, and we've got some sort of a topic. We've got the activity, the sentences, and we also get the answer key. Now, if you have used, and feel free to send in the chat as well, if you have ever used any kind of chatbot or generator, and what your experiences have been. But if you have used a generator, you'll know that you need to check for mistakes. So what I recommend is that you take at the activity, check the answers, the answer key, and make sure that everything's okay. There might be mistakes because it's AI. AI is all about predictability and unpredictability. But let's see that, or let's take a look at what happens if we don't want to talk about my first summer job because we're teaching climate change, okay? Um, Perhaps not at B1, maybe we are just changing, we're talking about extreme weather, okay? So in this box here, which is change topic or refine, I just typed extreme weather. And so we are going to refine the topic, which is hopefully going to change. And yes, it did. Weather around the world. And suddenly we have the same activity, the same setup, but now it's extreme weather. Now, this part here, changing topic or refine, can also be used for other things, because what if I want more gaps? So add 3 more gaps. And let's see whether this works. I really hope it does. And yes, it did. So at first, if you remember, we had only 5 gaps. Now we have 6, 7, and 8. Okay. So you can basically treat this refine segment. If you have used chatbots before, you can treat this as a kind of a chatbot style, keep adding extra prompts as further requests. Now, what I've noticed is that sometimes so it doesn't work as a full blown conversation that every iteration is there forever. So make sure whenever you refine and ask for additions, modifications, for example, in this case, we just got 3 extra sentences or gaps, fine. But for example, if I want to go back to my first summer job, it's not there anymore. So just be careful. If you change the topic completely, then you might lose the first or the original generated result. And once you're happy, now we've got extreme weather, we've got 8 gaps, you can then export it. And you can export it into PDF, Word, which is great because then you can edit it further, add other activities to it. And you can even share it to Google Classroom, which I'm going to show you because I'm very happy that it worked. So you need to authenticate your Google Classroom, but here are all my classrooms. And I tried it. It immediately publishes the activity. So be careful with trying it on a live classroom. It definitely works. And so you can export it easily. So that was, I need to speak very quickly. I'm sorry because we really don't have a lot of time, but that was the Cambridge style exam prep generator. I'm still just going to bring it back to you that you have A2, B1, B2, and C1 at the moment. As I said, C2 is coming and IELTS is also coming. So more exams and levels are going to be added. But let's move on to our next generator, which is the worksheet generator, which you can see over here. Pretty much the same. The good thing is that once you learn how to use one generator, you're going to find the others easier to handle. Again, you've got the info box where you can find more info, how to use it, what to do. But if we want to stay with extreme weather, okay, Europe definitely is experiencing extreme weather right now, so why not use that? You can then choose from different activity types. If we want to, we can include all of them, or you can just select a couple of them. Let's select all of them now. And then you can select the level. Let's stick with B1. And what I really like is that you can customize these worksheets a lot. So if you want to, but only if you want to, you can describe as much as you want, describe your learner profile, who they are, how they are, what their previous knowledge is, how they are struggling perhaps. So we might say that they are 10-year-old students who are very talented and are quick learners. And let's say that you either already have a worksheet, then you can upload a file. So you have, for example, a worksheet you want to regenerate or a text you want to use as source. You can then upload a file. You can also paste supporting text, which you can then use as the basis of the worksheet, or you can use a website. In that case, I forgot that I actually wanted to use this article that I found today. I'm very happy that this is the title, like AI was used to release new music. You can talk about this with your students, but you can use all these sources to feed into your worksheet. Now, actually, I'm going to check just in case. Let's see what happens if I use Liza Minnelli and then we also keep the extreme weather as topic. We'll see what happens. But we now can move on to additional settings. So these were the supporting materials, and we can also set additional settings. And I have to say, I love this because the learning needs, so we need to just make sure we understand that at the top, we've got learner profile. That's where you can say learner expectations or who they are, what they want. Learning needs is these are the special educational needs. For example, dyslexia, ADHD, autism. Now, what's important is that you're going to get teaching strategies for this particular disorder. Let's see what happens. So now we'll see what happens, generate something that's about Liza Minnelli, generating music and extreme weather for students who have speech and language disorders. I think it's a pretty tough request, but we'll see what happens. It definitely takes more time than the Cambridge generator, but okay, let's just take a quick look. All right, stream weather worksheet. So we've got a matching task. You can then, again, if you remember, I told you that it's important to check all AI generated results. So it's worth thinking about whether these words are CEFR B1 or not. We've got multiple choice. Okay. Not much about Liza Minnelli here. Then we've got the same words repeated, so it's very good for repetition and recycling. And this is something I really like. If you're asking for short essay questions, you get a differentiated task. You have an easy question and a hard question. Honestly, I love this, and I would include it in every generator possible because it's a great idea to differentiate, and that's already given to you. We've got true or false and the answer key. Now, what if, that's going to be the last thing we'll try, include Liza Minnelli as well. Let's see what happens. I'm trying to regenerate the worksheet. And while this is happening, you can also see the teacher strategies that I mentioned that you get when when you specify that you have some sort of special needs. So, for example, in this case, we've got giving simpler, clear instructions, very good strategies, by the way, encouraging group work, using repetition. And interestingly, Liza Minnelli is here. Linking the topic to Liza Minnelli or other familiar figures can make the learning experience more engaging. Let's see whether the worksheet has been regenerated. I still kind of see the same weather stuff in the hard essay question. Ooh, yes, it worked. I'm very happy to see that. Imagine Liza Minnelli is performing at an outdoor concert during a heat wave. So the two were successfully blended. What advice would you give her? And kind of, I mean, it was a very tough ask, to be honest, but it worked. So this is where I'm going to stop showing the generators because we are running out of time. But in a short, very brief demo, this is how much I wanted to show you. Jada, back to you.
And I think there is someone that is interested about the IELTS generator, of course,
I can
because
understand.
it's so useful, right? And Cambridge Style is just the first one that we release in this exam prep generators group. And our intention, as Joanna mentioned, is to release more as we progress. So the next one coming up is the IELTS. We are working on it. It should be coming out shortly. I would say around springtime. We don't have a confirmed timeline yet, but keep an eye out and we'll release all information. And I'm sure we'll do another webinar like this to showcase the IELTS generator. Now, we kind of run out of time, so a big thank you. I know that there was someone that was asking for the link for accessing TeacherMatic. So I'm just dropping in the chat this link to the landing page where you can see all the information about the Language Teaching Edition. And I think I might just share my screen very quickly so I can showcase this page just in case. So as soon as you go to the page, which by the way, you can also access straight away from the home page of TeacherMatic. So if you go to teachermatic.com, you can click on this banner at the top about the Language Teaching Edition, and then here you are on this page. So here you scroll down, you have all the information about how this edition was designed. You can see all the different generators available that Joanna mentioned earlier. Also very interesting, why can you believe us? Why it's important that we kind of have like an approach to CFR alignment, and we worked in collaboration with Niall and Ellen Boyd. And then moving on, what you can do, as you know, this is a webinar series, and today's webinar was hosted by Joe. The next webinar will be hosted by Nik Peachey, who did other webinars with us last year, and you can already register and secure your place for the next webinar that is coming up on the 12th of February, that is going to focus on planning on two very important generators, the scheme of work and the lesson plan, and other generators available. And you can register by clicking on this link here. So feel free to secure your place already. It's a free webinar. It's another 30 minutes webinar. It's very useful. And lastly, in case your organization is interested in knowing more about TeacherMatic and having a look at how you can really have TeacherMatic for your institution, you're more than welcome to get in touch with our sales team by completing the form that you can find here. Or let's say that you want to try it out. We do have a free version available and also a pro version that gives you more generation per day, and you can just get started by clicking on this link. So all of the information are here on this page. And now stopping share. Okay, great. We're over by 3 minutes. So I hope that you found this webinar useful. I'm also dropping, just in case, for easier access, the registration link for the next webinar in the chat, if you want to do it straight away and secure your place for it. Here you go, it's in the chat. And thank you very much, Joe, for being here today. It was a pleasure. It was very interesting, and I think the audience also enjoyed it. So we hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
And hope to see everybody soon as well. So thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.